Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I hope that you all are doing fine. So, today we will have idioms and adage from the grade 4. So, first you have to log in using the aplusstudent.com. Click on your name and you move on to language arts. You go to grade 4, idioms and adages. We have two lessons that we will complete today. Determine the meaning of idioms from context at 1, and identify the meaning of idioms and adages. Okay, so this is what we will do today. Hi, everyone on the chat. How are you all doing today? Hello. How are you guys? So we have Bella. I remember Bella. I remember Kim also, and David. Yeah. Okay. So good to have you all. We will just start now, okay? Okay, so an idiom is a phrase that means something different than what the word in the phrase mean on their own. So idioms are phrases, okay? They're phrase that means something different than what the word in the phrase means. So you could have a phrase, and when you have the idiom, they could mean different things, okay? So we have under the weather is an idiom. So the first idiom is under the weather. It isn't about the weather. So you can see that the phrase mean what the word in the phrase mean on their own. So we have a phrase here that is under the weather, but it is different, okay? The meaning of under the weather is totally different from the phrase that you can see here, okay? It's totally different. Maybe someone would say under the weather and the person would think that it's referring to the weather. Of course not. It is totally different. Okay, so idioms are just like things that you hear. Maybe someone said something to you before, It doesn't make sense, but you literally understand what they're saying. So that's just like idiom. You might like, oh, why is this confusing? Because idioms are like very, very different phrases. They sound so weird sometimes. And then you say, oh, what does this mean? Of course, it has a meaning. Just like when we say under the weather, someone might think that we're talking about the weather, but of course, it's totally different. So, it means that someone isn't feeling well. So whenever you see the idiom under the weather, it means that the person is sick. Okay? All right. So person could be feeling down. That's what under the weather mean. We also have, so this is a very popular idiom. I'm sure that you guys have heard this before. It is raining cats and dogs. What do you think? Okay, what do you think? What do you think it's raining cats and dog mean? Okay, so remember that idiom is a phrase that means something different than what the words in the phrase mean. Okay, so like this one, we can see cats and dogs. So this is the phrase in this word, cats and dog. We're not talking about the animals, okay? That's why idioms are different. They mean totally different from the meaning of these things in general. Okay, so check. Tell me, what do you think is the meaning of, yeah, exactly. I think it means raining hard. So yeah, when it's raining heavily, okay, that is the meaning of raining cats and dog. So yeah, exactly. Not actually cats and dog as in the animals. No. That's why idioms are so weird and strange. Sometimes you might get confused and ask yourself, oh, they're referring to the animals. Obviously not. We're not talking about the animals. It's a different phrase with different meaning. Okay? So raining cats and dog mean raining heavily. So also, um the meaning of idioms cannot be found by looking at the meaning of each word. So just like when we had under the weather, okay? Just like under the weather, for example, now the meaning of this idiom cannot be found by looking at the meaning of each of this word. So you can search the meaning of under, search the meaning of weather. It's totally different. So idioms cannot be found if you search the meaning of all those words. So you have to remember them or figure out their meaning by looking at how they are used. So it's very difficult. You just have to make sure that you try to remember them, because if you say that you will just look at the word and then check the meaning, nope, you will not get it right. So you have to make sure that you remember the idioms, okay? And figure out their meaning depending on how you see people use them. So, like when we say cats and dogs, raining cats and dogs, we might not know the meaning, but you see that people use it to maybe describe that, oh, it's raining heavily. So, you have to remember that so that whenever you want to use idioms, you can use that. Okay, we have a whole lot of idioms, so many idioms. I don't expect you to know all of them, of course, but you can pick up a few idioms, learn them, and try to remember them because they are very unique phrases and it's good. Okay, so we have some examples here. We have um, this idiom, break a leg. So this is an idiom, break a leg. So if you go to Google or the dictionary and you want to search the meaning of break or leg, it's totally different from the meaning of the idiom, okay? Okay? So it doesn't actually mean that you're breaking your leg. It just means good luck. Okay? It's just like when you have an exam and then someone tells you, go there and break a leg. So the person is like saying, good luck to you. Just go there and succeed. Okay? I'm wishing you success. Something like that. So we actually have another idiom here, piece of cake. So when we say piece of cake, we don't mean that we're giving you a piece of cake, as in the birthday cake or something. Okay, that's totally different. It means something very easy, very easy. Okay. So we have, like I said before, we have a whole lot of idioms, okay? So many, okay? We also have, for example, spill the beans. So when we say spill the beans, what do we mean by this? We're not saying that you should spill the beans that we eat on the floor or on the table or something. No, okay? It's a different thing, it's a different meaning. All right? So all the idioms have different meaning. Okay, so spill the beans is just like saying, oh, tell me something. So when we say spill the beans, it's like, oh, I have something that I want to tell you all, and I have just been holding it to myself. And then one of you can just ask me, oh, Miss Jada, can you spill the beans? So it's just like saying, can you tell us something? So like a huge secret or something like that. Okay, so we have adage. Okay, we have the adage now. An adage also means something different from what it says. So adage also means something, of course it means something different from what it says. Adages are old sayings that give advice or describe the way things are. So in general, adages are just like old sayings, and then people use the old sayings to give advice or describe something. But obviously, adage is just like the idioms. They mean something different from what it says. Okay? So yeah. So we have birds of a feather flock together is an adage. I'm sure that you all have heard this before when people say birds of a feather, excuse me, flock together. Okay? So people always say this adage is very common. Okay, it isn't really about birds. So now we're not talking about birds. Okay, it's so different. It means that people who are alike spend time together. So you can be friends with someone because you guys align. You guys have similar things in common. That's why it is called beds of a feather. Okay, so it's like friends of I'm sure you guys have heard this saying before. It's just like when your friend do something, whether it's good or bad, but as long as you're friends with that person, they would say birds of a feather flock together. So that means people who are alike move together. Okay, so we also have, okay, so we have here the meanings of idioms and adages cannot be found by looking at the meaning of each word. Obviously, we've said that. So both the hello, this is language class, okay? So the meaning of idioms and adages cannot be found by looking at each of the word, of course not. So you have to make sure that you remember them step by step. Okay, so we have an adage. This is an adage. Have you heard this before? Actions speak louder than words. Okay, so this is an adage that is just saying that, okay, whatever you do, okay, or what you do is more important than what you say. So actions speak louder than words. Whatever you show to me is what is more important than whatever you're saying. And we also have an adage, I'm sure you've heard this. You can't judge a book by its cover. Okay? So you cannot judge a book by its cover. This is an adage. Okay, so it's just like saying that don't judge something based on its appearance. Okay, you have to get to know it first before you judge. Okay, we have this adage, it's common. So, all these are adages that you all should take note of. Okay, so these are very common adage that people use, so you can as well just take note of them. All right. So we have a stitch in time saves nine. This is a very common adage. Okay. So it's just like saying that it is better to fix a small problem right away before it becomes a bigger issue. A stitch in time saves nine. All right. So if you deal with the issue right now that it's little, it is better than it becoming something huge and then it's a problem. Okay. So all these are examples of adages. We have some idioms as well. Okay, we have for idioms, we have hit the nail on the head. Okay, hit the nail on the head. Okay, so for idioms, we have hit the nail on the head. It's like saying go straight to the point, don't beat around the bush. Oh, we also have beat around the bush. Mm-hmm. Beat around the bush also is an idiom. It's just saying like you don't want to go straight to the point. You don't want to tell us, oh, this is it. So you're going round in corners, round, round, round. So on the chat, share with us some idioms that you know. Okay, or adage. Okay. Mm-hmm. Share some adage or idioms that you know on the chat. I'm waiting for your answers. Mm-hmm. So share your idioms. Which idiom do you know, or is there any adage that you know you can share? Okay, so moving on here. Okay, so we have, what is the meaning of have eyes in the back of one's head? Have eyes in the back of one's head. No one plays pranks on Mrs. Coleman because she has eyes in the back of her head. So it just means that you know something. So if someone says have eyes in the back of one head, it's an idiom. It figures out its meaning. Look at the meaning of the sentence as a whole. So if you want to figure out, you have to make sure that you look at the whole sentence and see what it's talking about. It means look everything that goes on, know everything that goes on, to know everything that is going on. So when you say that someone have eyes at the back of their head, it's like they're very smart. They know whatever is happening. They're not left out. We have, what is the meaning of monkey business? Raising upstairs, the babysitter asks, what kind of monkey business are you girls up to? Monkey business is just like saying naughty behavior. So what is that thing that you guys are doing? It's definitely something naughty. What is the meaning of cost an arm and a leg? This is a very common idiom. I would love to go on that tropical vacation, but it costs an arm and a leg. So it means that it is very expensive. Okay, so cost an arm and a leg. So whenever you hear that, just mean that it's expensive. So moving on to the test, send your answers on the chat. Okay. So what is the meaning of climb the walls? While writing all day for an important phone, while waiting all day for an important phone call, the hosts were climbing the walls. What is that? What do you think? A or B? Share your answers on the chat. What are we talking about here? Share your answers on the chat. Let's interact. Okay? Waiting on your answers. Okay, so we have two, which is two. Are you guys sure about this? Climb the walls. Two. Two is obviously incorrect because you cannot say climb the wall is to play. Let me show you. It is not playing sports. To play sports indoors is incorrect because climb the wall is an idiom. To figure out the meaning, look at the meaning of the sentence. The sentence said that the person was waiting for a phone call. So obviously it means that restless or nervous. So the fact that he was waiting for a phone call or she was waiting for an important phone call, The halls were climbing the walls. That means she was getting restless and nervous. Okay? So look at this word. Below the belt. Susan felt Luther's teasing was really below the belt, and she couldn't help but cry. So, what do you think about number two? What do you think about number two? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what's this one? So, below the belt, yes. Unfair and overly mean, yes. Okay, good. So, we have rat race. Okay, so Mr. Montgomery decided to leave the rat race by quitting the job he disliked. So, what's it? Rat race. What is the meaning? So, a running contest between small animals. Useless ongoing struggles. Remember that idioms, they don't mean exactly what you see in the word. They are different things, okay? This one, racing upstairs, the babysitter asks, "What kind of monkey business are you guys up to?" What's the answer here? So, monkey business, naughty behavior. All right, good. So we have, I found a huge error in my math, so I had to go back to square one and try again. Back to square one. What is this one? Back to square one. Option one, to begin. Okay, to the beginning again. All right. So if you're going back to square one, it's like you're starting all over again. Okay. So we also have, after her roommate moved out suddenly, Dory was left high and dry, paying all the rent herself. So is it nagging someone or without help? What is the right answer here? Okay, it cannot be nagging someone. High and dry means yes, option two, without help. If someone is left high and dry, it's without help. So we have Bobby usually doesn't follow trends, but he jumped on the bandwagon and bought those sneakers. So what do you think? To join others in a car or to do the popular thing? What do you think? So we have to do the popular thing. Okay, so that's it for like the first lesson. You have to make sure that you complete this lesson if you haven't done it before. We move on to the second one, which is identify the meaning of idioms and adages. So, what is the meaning of on the back burner? So, if we say on the back burner, we mean on hold. So, when something is on a back burner, it is on hold. What is the meaning of give the cold shoulder? This is also common. Give the cold shoulder means to ignore someone in an unfriendly way. Then we have, what is the meaning of don't put all your eggs in one basket? Don't count on just one thing or one person. Okay? So you have to separate it. Don't just trust in one person. So we will move on to the test here. What is the meaning of don't put the cart before the horse? So think and tell me this one. What is it? So option one, which one? Don't put the cart before the horse. So it means to slow down. Okay. What is the meaning of joint at the hip? Joint at the hips. Always together or almost remembered? Which one? Always together or almost remembered? Always together. Correct. What is the meaning of all that glitters is not gold? Can you check? Okay, so option one. Okay, not everything that look good is actually the same way, right? Mm-hmm. Good. What is the full meaning of full of hot air? Full of hot air. What do you think here? Mm, mm-hmm. Full of hot air is talking nonsense. When you're saying something that does not make sense, it's full of hot air. What's the meaning of cost an arm and a leg? What do you think for this one? So to be very expensive, cost an arm and a leg. All right. What is the meaning of head over heels? Head over heels. What's the meaning of this one? Meaning of head over heels. What do you think? Head over heels. So head over heels is very much in love. What is the meaning of face the music? Face the music. To accept unpleasant result of one's action, to turn better ear a speaker or band. So it is to accept unpleasant results of one's action. Okay, so do you have any question concerning idioms and adage? Next time we will complete the remaining two lessons concerning idioms and adage. But before we finish today, can you let me know if you have any questions? Do you have any questions, guys? Okay, so no problem. Um, since you have no questions, we'll end here today. I hope that you can complete this lesson. If you still need help after this live, you can click on this chat button here to get more help. And then next time, we will finish the remaining lessons. Okay? Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.